Good morning, guys. Just getting my act together here. I am coming out of Newfound Gap. I had to take a 00 here in Gatlinburg. I'm going to try to be a little bit more efficient in my jabbering at you. I know some of these videos are kind of long, and while maybe the scenes and the thoughts are of value to someone, just try to be a little bit more efficient. So the short of it is this. For the 2 days prior to hitting Gatlinburg, I had been having rather severe kidney pains. I still did like 16 and a half and 11 and a half day or something like that for the 2 days, but I was hurting badly. Of course, you know about my mom, that too. But came in, went to the doc. Turned out I had both sinus and urinary tract infection, and exacerbated by the dehydration. And that's what was causing my kidney pains. I also felt like I was carrying a couple of luxury items, adding weight to my pack, unnecessary weight, that through this area I just had to give up. So I also put 4 pounds of items in the mail back to my facilitator, and so I'm 4 pounds lighter than I was when I got off at Newfound Gap 3 days ago. That hits me hard. You know that I wasn't really taking zeros. I was doing at least little slack packs on my days off because, as Early Riser calls it, the matrix, fighting the matrix in the towns is a huge part of keeping me mentally on the trail and not in the cities. So 2 days was actually a lot for me. But I did sock a lot of food down, socked a lot of water down. I had lost, I was 185 to 187 on the day that I started the trail. I was 172 when I went to the doc. In 18 days on the trail, doc said, that's too much weight loss, obviously. I need to hit the towns and bulk up water-wise and food-wise whenever I get an opportunity. I have been having a lot of problems settling in with the trail food, the mashed potatoes and pasta sides and stuff. My body was not reacting well to that. So I went back to the mountain house. I'm on the mountain house. We're a backpacker kind of pantry. But preset meals, essentially. I do a little better with those. I'm going to try couscous and other things to see if I can't find something that my system responds a little better to. So quality in was nice. Nothing fancy, but gave me everything that I needed. Was centrally located, so that was good. I don't know if I've actually mentioned this before. It's come through my head a couple times about the trail angels and trail parasites. The trail angels are fantastic, of course. You know, you love them to death. They're so generous. In fact, it was trail angel Alex and his girlfriend who dropped me off this morning, which saved me the $68, $68 shuttle charge that I got from whatever other services they may provide, whatever. But when you're looking for a shuttle service, that ain't it. The NOC outfitter down in Gatlinburg doesn't do their shuttle service until April 1st. And hitching around here, since it's a straight shot, seems to be a really good option. Anyway, I'm healthy, feeling good. Trail starts out with a significant incline, which unfortunately I'm going through right now, but I need to get the video started, get back squared away, get back into the game. Looking to do like 10.5 today, just to get it started again, but we'll see. It's supposed to be a relatively warm day. Right now, very foggy, but it's burning off. RTK started an hour before me this morning, so he's here on trail with me. That's awesome. Saw a lot of people. Gatlinburg is, of course, the tourist town, but saw a lot of thru-hikers while I was there. Saw the group I had been hiking with: Nomad, Gazelle, Willow, Thomas / Polo, Jenny. They moved on 2 days ago. They're hiking so fast. You know, I don't know when and if I'll see them again. But they were there. Bait Bolt were there with a group that they've been hiking with. And they seem to be in good spirits. So that was awesome to see them. Last night was just eating dinner and had like 3 people come up to me, all related to the thru-hike. One couple had actually heard of me. They had done a section hike, and I guess there was some chirp in the shelters about me having had this kidney issue. So they asked me if I was scars. They were the ones who dropped me off, and had a good conversation. It was sort of an interesting evening in that regard. I don't see a lot of people here who've been to the channel or know me, but sort of interesting when it does happen. So that was exciting. All right, so today I am pushing through, I believe, to Peck's Corner, maybe? Peck's something shelter, 10.5. And once I'm there, see what time it is and what my other options are. And I will continue on from there. But I want to be to Davenport in 2 days. That's 30-something miles, so I need to do 16s basically. So we'll see. Maybe I won't make that. But I would like to be there in 2 days. 2 nights, 3 days. So I don't need to do 15s or 16s because there's 3 days there. But I want to be out of this very cold. You know, weather's supposed to be crap again. Today I think it's supposed to be nice. Then rain, although it's supposed to be tornadic. I doubt here in the mountains, but it means pretty wicked winds anyway. And then, let me Pardon me for a sec. And then supposed to rain for the next 2 days and then snow. So, you know, it's constantly chasing this weather. I mean, even the people in the town are talking about the weather. They're like, you know, it just doesn't end. I don't know how we are as far as the wettest, blah, 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 all of that sort of thing. I'm not sure about the amount of precipitation, but I know the cold and the constant precipitation is definitely a challenge this year. So, the only other interesting thing was, you know, I haven't seen any, I saw a deer, but I haven't really seen any sizable wildlife since I've been out. But when I was at the Quality Inn, there's a breezeway from the elevator over to the Mountain View, it's not lodge, but Mountain View building at the Quality Inn, and there was a large black bear male on that breezeway. And when the people came out of the elevator, it jumped over the side onto the very slopey hillside and hid underneath the breezeway. The maintenance crew have to come out with like firecrackers and noisemakers and scare it off. Apparently, this bear, you know, has lived there since it was just a cub and likes to get in the garbage and stuff, which is probably explains why it's such a big, healthy bear even this early in the season. But they said it only hibernated for like 3 months and then came out. And again, it's probably because of this availability of food, human food. But at least it's staying skittish as far as people, so that's kind of cool. It's not aggressive in any way. But so I wasn't able to take a picture of it, but I did see it. So that was the only sort of bear sighting that I've had in town. Let's see, Newfound Gap Road. Okay. All right, guys, let me cut this off and show you some trail a little bit farther down. Pretty part of the trail I thought I would share with you as the light filters through all these trees. Still heading north from the Newfound Gap. The fog has been burning off nicely this morning. Oh, look at this. I could sure use a couple of these days. I keep wanting to shut it off, but it gets more spectacular and more spectacular, so I hope you don't mind. Not sure if the camera will pick up the wispy fog that's burning off the hill and just rising as the top, of course, heats and pulling the cold air from below. But again, spectacular. This is probably one of my first disappointments as far as scenery. You know, I've actually been pretty fortunate in hitting the prominent spots when I had good weather. And you know, probably in an hour or so this would burn off and I'd have a spectacular view, but the trail will provide what the trail wants to provide. Oh man, I just took a big spill. These rocks are so slippery. It wasn't icy. It was just a wet rock that angled to the offside of the hill. Look how steep that is. And I hit that thing and it was like glass. I fell back on my side, hit my ass right on that rock, which then bounced me forward, and I went head over heels down the edge of the cliff for about 20 feet or so before I got tangled up in some tree limbs and roots. I hadn't even been able to get my act together to grab onto anything. My hands were, of course, wrapped in the poles. They were cattywampus, pointing in every direction but down. So I was locked. So it was only because of those trees that it saved me from falling further, but yeah, I'm definitely injured. I hit my ass really hard. So hopefully it'll just be muscle bruising. I'll have a good black and blue in there. And luckily went off to the side and didn't hit like my tailbone. Man, that was completely unexpected. So I've regrouped after my fall. Just seems like soft tissue damage on my butt. So I'm sure it'll bruise pretty badly, but it seems to be fine. I did torque my knee a bit, which is a bit of a lesson learned. I mean, it's something I knew, but still we do it. Others have talked about like having micro spikes and carrying those things around, and then when the conditions really warrant that, you don't stop to put them on because you've got your momentum and you're cruising along and you're like, okay, and so you end up not using them as often or as effectively as frankly you could, taking a risk that you're going to injure yourself. In this instance, today is the first day since I started at Amicalola. I have not worn my compression sleeves for my knees. And while I could argue to myself that those relatively lightweight compression sleeves wouldn't stop the torquing of my right knee, which apparently took place during that fall, which is now causing me discomfort. Maybe that little bit of extra support, could change an injury from an inconvenience to, or from, longer term to just inconvenience. Just past Peck's Corner and headed to Try Corner or Try Gap or something. 5.5 miles. beautiful part of the trail here on Copper's Gap, en route to Tri-Corner Shelter, Tri-Corner Gap, something. We're only about 2.8 miles from that. It is currently 2 o'clock. So it could be 3 o'clock. No, 2.8, so it could be like 3:30 when I reach the Tri-Corner. And there I will decide how much further to go on. I feel like I should apologize for continuing to show you very similar sort of landscape, but you know, I had mentioned this earlier, for the first time the Appalachian Trail you know, is like speaking to me. It doesn't feel like a, you know, canine obstacle course that was just artificially created for a challenge. But you know, you look at this and all of the diversity of life here. What do they say? There's more types of trees than there is on the entirety of the European continent. What is going on? And that's pretty neat. I mean, it's just amazing how all of these different subspecies of trees and everything are competing with each other, and somehow in this old growth forest they end up in a symbiotic relationship that you can see is not easy. I mean, there's a lot of death here, there's a lot of decay, but that's part of life, where it brings back the soil and it provides the nutrients for the next generation. And it's this old growth forest is really speaking to me in a way that the other areas haven't as of yet. Well, I predicted a 3:30 arrival time, and it's actually 3:36, so I was off by 6 minutes. There was more uphill coming in this last bit than I had expected. But here we are, Tri-Corner Shelter. I'm going to go down, sort of check in, break out my cooked stuff, make a dinner, do a map study, and decide whether I'll stay here or move on. But I want to get, because of my hydration and food issue, I want to get food in me regularly. So I will eat at least half a dinner right now and get water in me, and then decide from there. Okay, so here's the shelter. Privy, bear boxes, it looks like. Not the prettiest sight, but hey, it's covered and secure, so